I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a great way to start your day. What are some tips that you've discovered along the way for making good juices? Or maybe not only that, but just also being consistent with your juicing?
Empowering you organically, delivering content you trust with results you love.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Empowering You Organically. I'm joined by my co-host, Terry Ann Trevenin.
Hey, everyone.
Today, we are going to talk about the 10 reasons to drink green juice daily. So, Terry Ann, I know that you juice pretty much every day.
Every day.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, juicing is a way of life for me, for sure. I have a juicer at home, and I typically do my own juices every single day. Sometimes when it's a really crazy day and I don't have any left, I'll run to Whole Foods and I'll get a juice, but I pretty much juice every day at home. And when I say juice every day, I will typically juice enough for 2 or 3 days, and I drink one every single morning.
You make your juice and then just pour it into glasses and keep it in the fridge.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just the best way to start my day. I have a few rituals in starting out my day as far as food goes, and that's one of them. I feel like it's just jump starting my engine, essentially. Like, for the day, I get all those nutrients and vitamins and minerals, and the energy I feel after I drink one in the morning. It's just, my energy goes through the roof. And so, like, typically in the mornings, I work out and then I don't eat for an hour, and the first thing I do is juice. And so yeah, it's a daily thing. And then I do, from time to time, I do a full-blown detox with juice, where I'll juice for anywhere from 7 to 14 days and do juice, just drink juice straight, and different types of juice.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I find that I go in and out of my rhythms, right? So there's times that I'm juicing more often than others. I've done several 3-day juices. I've done several 10-day juices, and I've done one 30-day juice. And so I think it's phenomenal. I think it's a great way to start your day. What are some tips that you can give people before we get into the 10 reasons why you should? What are some tips that you've discovered along the way for making good juices? Or maybe not only that, but just also being consistent with your juicing?
For sure. There's a lot of people out there who are experts in juicing. So I find that getting on and getting recipes, like, don't learn the hard way that you're about to drink a really nasty juice. There's so many people out there juicing. I mean, you can jump on and do a Google search, and there's people who have recipes everywhere. And so if I want to mix up my juicing, I typically go and search for a recipe. Like, I think it's crazy to go and try and make up your own juice when so many people have done it. You can make some pretty nasty juices if you do it the wrong way.
Absolutely. I remember the first time I did a juice cleanse, I just watched the documentary, which a lot of people have probably seen, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's a great documentary about a guy, and I think he did a 60-day juice, Joe Cross. It may have only been 30, but I believe he did 60 days. Anyway, I say all that to say, when I first started, there weren't a ton of recipes online and that you could go find stuff. And one of the things that I found out as I was experimenting with making juices was less is more, right?
Yeah,
4
for sure.
to 5 ingredients is what I found to be the sweet spot.
Yeah.
I was living on an island down in Panama, and they have amazing fresh fruit and vegetables. And so I would go to the market and I'd pick up all kinds of stuff and throw 10, 11 ingredients in the juicer thinking it was going to be phenomenal. And you could barely even smell it by the time you're done by putting too many ingredients. So I know one of the big tricks for me was keeping it minimal, 4 or 5 ingredients max.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I have one that I typically do every single morning, but to mix up the different nutrients and vitamins and minerals that I'm getting, sometimes I'll just throw a random one in there. Like, my go-to every morning is celery, cucumber, spinach, kale, apples, lemons, and ginger. And I every morning will typically drink that. Occasionally I mix it up and I'll do like carrot, turmeric, orange, lemon juice. Or there's some that I've done with beets before. Beets are really good. I don't love beet juice, but I'll do it. And there's a lot of recipes out there that can make it taste a lot better. It's so good for you. So yeah, I mean, I mix things up, but I agree with you. I think less is more when it comes to juicing. Otherwise you get some gnarly flavors in there.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I know that there's I'm sure people listening that want us to have the conversation between having smoothies, right? Like using a Vitamix versus juicing and leaving the fibers and the pulp in. And today we're just going to focus on the benefits of juicing. I think there's benefits to both.
Agreed.
But I just want to clarify that we're just talking about the juicing. The juicer that I personally use and prefer to use is a Breville Juicer, Breville.
Yep.
And they have different levels of it. If you go to Amazon, I think their cheapest is about $99. I think the one that I used was $2.50.
Yeah.
It just had a couple different speed settings and it was easier to clean. Now, keep in mind, you can also do a cold press juice as well. There's the masticating juicers that are out there that more or less extract the juice out, and it doesn't use it by spinning it up and running it through a filter. I know we could go down a rabbit hole there too, right? There's people that think that, using the kind of juicer that I do ends up heating up the juice a little bit and it changes up the properties of the ingredient. But we're not going down any of that. We're just going to talk about juicing in general and understanding what the benefits are to that.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm going to put out there is, while it is cheaper in the long term to absolutely go buy your own juicer, they also have, I think there's a Hamilton Beach juicer that you can get for like $50. So there's really no excuse not to be able to get a juicer and going and getting fresh fruits and vegetables. But there are companies out there as well that make good juices.
Yeah.
Buddha juice.
I love Buddha juice.
I've used Buddha juice
when I
before.
when I do a long juice detox, it's really hard with my schedule to juice every single thing that I juice. So I'll order their juice when I'm doing a long 7 to 14 day detox.
Right. It's one thing to make one juice a day. It's another thing when you need to drink 6 or 7 a day
It's a
because
lot.
you're not consuming anything else.
For sure. It's a lot of work. So yeah, and another thing, so Buddha juice is great. That's really the only one that I use, but I know there's a lot of other juices out there. You can just Google search, and I would definitely do organic if you're going to do that. Like all the fruits and vegetables that I'm using in my juices are USDA certified organic.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we've talked about organic enough, but understanding when you're juicing, again, you're just taking out, the highest concentrations of it. And so making sure that the fruit and vegetable has been cleaned thoroughly, but also you have to do organic. You can't wash glyphosate out of a fruit or vegetable.
Yeah.
And so I think organic is essential. And if you're looking at juices, I mean, I understand if you go to your big box store and they have the refrigerated section, most of those juices are probably not straight juice, right? So you have to look at the ingredients, make sure that there's not a bunch of sweeteners added to it.
It should say for sure. And it should say on the bottle, like, you need to drink this within 3 to 5 days.
Right. It should not have preservatives. It should be expiring.
Then you know. And there's a couple different brands out there. I wish I knew the name of it off the top of my head. Buddha juice has to be delivered to your home, which is takes a little bit of time. But there are some, like even going to Target or Kroger now, where you can get juice, and a lot of them are actually cold pressed and organic and drink within 3 to 5 days. And I don't know that all of them are absolutely my favorite flavors, but I'll drink them for sure. They're clean, they're fresh, and it's a good way to get your nutrients for sure.
Absolutely. All right, so let's start on our top 10 list. We'll start with number 10 and we'll go down from there. So do you want to kick us off here, Terry-Ann?
Yeah, before we get into the top 10 list, I want to comment on one more thing when it comes to juicing. Then we'll go to number 10. But we talked about different juicers, and I want to talk about that for a second because I know it's like, well, I don't want to spend $250, so I'm just going to spend $50. But you get what you pay for. When you have a higher end juicer, like I have the Breville as well. I love the Breville. I don't have to cut all of my fruits and vegetables up. I stick them straight in the juicer.
You stick a whole lemon in there.
I do.
Just
Apples,
gotta remember to
celery.
Take the sticker off.
People who have the lower end juicers typically have to cut everything up. Like think about the celery. So all the fibers in the celery, and it gets stringy. If you don't have a really strong juicer, it all gets wrapped up in the filter, and when it's cut, it's so bad, and so people have to cut everything up really fine. For me, it was worth the more expensive juicer because it saves time. I can throw everything in there, and the cleanup is so easy. So like I juiced this morning, and it took me 5 minutes to throw all my stuff in the juicer, wash, throw it in the juicer, pour it out into my jars, and then it literally took me 10 minutes or less to clean everything up, the filter and everything. And I actually throw them in the dishwasher too, just to get them extra clean because the juice is so staining. But yeah, I would just say that's another pro tip. Like just spend the money because it's going to save you time in the long run, and it's more powerful. It really gets everything, and things don't get caught and stuck. So I just wanted to make that comment too. So to our top 10 reasons for juicing. Number 10 is liquids. We need liquids to remain healthy, and juicing is a good source of liquid. Around 3/4 of the human body is water. And I think this is really important. I think a lot of people suffer from dehydration in this day and age. Like, everybody's running around drinking their sodas and their fake drinks. It's not really hydrating. People are not getting enough water, and juicing is a good source of hydration as well for your body, not to mention it has all of the nutrients in it when you're hydrating your body. So we cannot underestimate the importance of our body being fully hydrated.
I agree 100%. I mean, it's a conscious effort to try to drink enough water throughout the day, right? It's a conscious effort to try to get enough liquids in. And unfortunately, a lot of us are consuming coffee or soda or different things like that don't really hydrate your body adequately. And a juice does that and more, right? Because it's delivering nutrients into your cells and it's hydrating you. I just think it's phenomenal.
Yeah. Well, and an interesting fact that I learned about juicing is when we're not hydrated enough and we're eating a lot of sugar and our body's inflamed, we're actually retaining water. But the juicing actually pulls that water out, water weight that we're not supposed to be carrying around. And so it's interesting, like, being dehydrated and eating unhealthy can actually make us retain water, but not in a good way. That's really unhealthy for our body. So staying hydrated is so important, and juicing contributes to that for sure.
Agreed. So let's move to number 9, and that is specific vitamins and minerals. So when you juice raw fruits and vegetables, you get specific vitamins and minerals in a natural, easily absorbable form. If you're looking for beta carotene, drink carrot juice. You're looking for potassium, try green juice or blackberry juice. And yeah, I think it's very important. And when we talk about the juicing and juicing fruits and vegetables, my personal experience is 90% vegetables, 10% juice or fruits.
Same.
Right. And maybe it's not 90%, maybe it's 80%. The challenge that I find in just a fruit juice is the high sugar content and the big insulin response that you get from that. Now, I love a good green juice that has an apple in there that gives it that little bit of sweetness and just adds, more nutrients in that context, but not going overboard. Right? And not just doing all fruits. Now, there are times, and I got to tell you, one of my favorites is just oranges and carrots. Delicious.
Me too.
My daughters love those. Really sweet, really good. But for the most part, I generally try to stick with 80-90% vegetables.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting on that note. Think about when you're juicing, how much you're getting in that one juice. So like when I make my juice in the morning, I buy these big containers of organic spinach, like the really big ones you can get at the store. And for my 2 or 3 juice that I make, and I save over 2 or 3 days, I'm using at least half, if not 3/4 of that container. So think about that. And like this morning when I made my juice, I put like 6 or 7 stalks of celery in there, and I put 2 cucumbers in there, and I put 2 apples in there, and a big chunk of ginger. Like, are you ever going to sit down and eat all of that in one sitting? No.
Agreed.
But you get all of that benefit of the nutrients and the vitamins in your juice from what you just juiced. And so it's like, I'm consuming these large amounts of fruits and veggies. Like, I have to go to the store every couple days and restock because I'm going through so much for juicing. And so you're just getting all of this nutritional value that you wouldn't get any other way. You could not consume that in one sitting.
It's another reason, in my opinion, to juice, right? I have a challenge getting enough vegetables in on a regular basis, even if I'm eating 3 meals a day and I have a lot of vegetables. I mean, just am I getting enough from those? And juicing just helps reassure that I am.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. Number 8, phytochemicals. Prevention is a more effective strategy than treatment of chronic diseases. Plant-based foods such as fruit, vegetables, and whole grains, which contain significant amounts of bioactive phytochemicals, may provide desirable health benefits beyond basic nutrition to reduce the risk of chronic diseases. So I don't suffer from a chronic disease. However, I've talked about this on the podcast before. I was really, really sick about a year to a year and a half ago. I just couldn't beat it. and ended up getting some blood work done. And there were some things that were actually wrong, not chronic disease, but my doctor even told me, like, these are some of the highest levels of this issue that you're dealing with that I've ever seen. And it was really hard to come back from that. And I really attribute a lot of my bounce back from that to juicing. I did some detox and I did a lot of juicing, and for me, that was getting over something, but the prevention too. Like, I feel like with juicing, my friend and I joke a lot, like, get your glow on when you're juicing. Like, your skin glows, you're healthier, digestion's better, my energy levels are up, I sleep better. Like, juicing, there's so many benefits to juicing and regulating your body, keeping inflammation down, helping with digestion, getting rid of that extra water weight that you're retaining. Inflammation is the root of a lot of different diseases in our body, and juicing definitely is one of those benefits. To reduce inflammation is one of those benefits to juicing. And also gut health. I just feel like there's so many benefits, and I can feel it 100% every single day as I juice.
Well, and I think what's interesting, and we don't kind of have it on our list here, is I truly feel the way that you start the day affects your entire day. Right.
Sure.
So for me, it's very important to start the day with a run or some sort of cardio exercise. I feel the same way with juicing, right? When you start the day with a juice, it just sets the context for the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Right. If you start your day with a bowl of sugary cereal or some Pop-Tarts or something like that, then how's the rest of the day continue?
Yeah.
So
there's research behind how that impacts your brain,
of course,
and what it triggers in the brain and what you're training your brain to do. So it's like you start the day with that, then your brain's like, that's the next thing it wants to get to, and that's the next thing that it wants to get to. And the other thing too, like, it's an interesting point you make, because when you're juicing, let's say you ate something crappy the night before, that juice is going to flush it out of your system. I mean, juicing is detoxing. And that's another reason why I love juicing every morning. It's a wake up call to my body every day, detoxing, getting everything out. And right now I'm eating ultra clean, but I still feel like I get that benefit of detox. Anything that I may have consumed the day before, not even knowing that it was, toxic to my body in some way, that juice is pulling it out. So when you talk about prevention, I mean, it's just literally regenerating your body every morning with what it needs and cleaning it out.
And there's something to be said for refueling your body with a raw source, right? It's uncooked. Yep. It's raw. You get all the enzymes that are in it. You get all the nutrients that are in it. And I just think it's phenomenal for your body.
Yeah.
So with that, let's move to number 7, protein from non-meat sources. So although fruits and vegetables do not contain large quantities of protein, their juice can be a convenient carrier. Simply add some brewer's yeast, wheat germ, or collagens to whatever you're juicing. These give you protein without the fat that meat contains, and protein that is quickly and easily absorbed by the body. It's very interesting because I don't think that often do we consider fruits and vegetables as being good sources of protein. Whereas we know something like spinach does have a fair amount of protein. But it's an interesting idea that it's a good carrier, right? So if you were to mix in a collagen, or you were to mix in a brewer's yeast or wheat germ, or even some other plant-based protein powder into your juice, it's just a phenomenal way to get it into your system early. And we know that the more that you age and the older that you get, the more protein that you need in your body.
No.
And so it's another benefit, I feel, to juicing and being able to get that protein into your body in an easy way.
Yeah, I put collagens in my juice, and not every single morning, because I do other smoothies with my juice in the morning with bone broth and collagens. But sometimes if I want that extra boost of collagens or protein, you can add things in. You can do a plain bone broth protein powder. You can put that into your juice as well. So if they don't have flavor, you can't even taste it. You throw it right into your juice and you get that added benefit. It's such an easy way to get extra nutritional value out of your juice. Number 6, quick absorption. When you drink juice, the nutrients get to you quickly, nutrition at the cellular level. And this is something we're super passionate about. And we've talked about this with supply chain and manufacturing supplements, and how important it is to open up ingredients so that their nutritional value and their profile changes, the phytochemicals that are in ingredients. And when you're juicing, that's what happens with the fruits and vegetables that you're juicing. And when you're drinking that, the way that it gets delivered into your body, it's like packs the punch right into the body first thing in the morning.
you truly feel it, right? You get done a green juice in the morning, and within just a few minutes, I mean, you can almost feel a little bit wired, and you feel all of that hitting your body, which I don't tend to experience as much when I do a smoothie or something like that still has all the fibers in there. The fibers help regulate the speed of the absorption of the nutrients.
Yeah.
Whereas the juicing, I mean, it's like a shot of energy,
yeah,
which I like as well.
Yeah. And I think you have to be careful. It goes back to the conversation just a few minutes ago where you need to be careful about fruit and vegetable consumption in your juicing, because I find that if I have too much fruit in my juice, then I kind of drag because it's all that sugar. You kind of get that high for a minute and then you drop. But when I'm putting more greens in my juice, more vegetables in my juice that have lower sugar content, like that energy, it's good energy when you drink that juice. You're absolutely right. It's like you drink it and you're like, I'm ready to go for today. Like I feel so good. But you have to be careful with that fruit vegetable ratio, or the sugar content of what you're putting into your juice, because I think that makes a big difference in how you feel after drinking it.
Absolutely. So listen, we're going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to end the podcast right now, and we will do a part 2 where we'll cover the top 5 reasons to juice. We're playing around with doing a little bit shorter podcast to see if that's easier for our listeners to be able to consume. So with that, let me just end today's episode by saying, if you're enjoying our podcast, please go to iTunes. Please give us a 5-star rating, 4-star rating, whatever you feel the rating should be. Leave us a review. When you do that, it allows us to reach more people. iTunes will give us more love and show us as a recommended resource when other people are listening to different podcasts. So please go and rate us, leave us a review. Go to empoweringyorganically.com to be able to watch any of the videos, get the cliff notes. You'll be able to get this as an easily downloadable list of the top 10 and all of that. Anything else you want to add, Terry Ann, before we wrap this up? No,
just tune in next week for the top 5, and we'll be excited to see you back here next week.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on part 2.